Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Always good to have you on the show. In the midst of the chaos in Washington, T-Mobile has reported preliminary results for 2020, showing some of the biggest subscriber gains in history, in the middle of a pandemic, no less. What drove this?
Thanks, Emily. It's great to be on. It was 5.5 million postpaid subscribers in 2020, the most in our company's history. And I am just so proud of the team. The bottom line is this: customers want a network connection that's reliable, and they want it at a great value right now more than ever. And that's what we deliver. And, regardless of the market conditions, right now, switching is muted in this industry. And we normally grow based on switching, people coming to us from AT&T and Verizon. And even with that muted environment, people aren't in retail stores much. We were able to deliver some of the most impressive growth numbers in our history. And it just shows that the model and what we have to offer consumers and enterprises is really resonating.
So with the number of job losses we've seen, the recession, can subscriber growth come even close this year to what it did last year? What is your outlook for 2021 and how it will be similar and different?
Well, I would expect that now more than ever, they're not going to give up this category. Wireless is so essential, but they might be asking themselves whether they have the right provider, whether they could have a better value, because people have to make tough choices out there right now. And we offer the undeniably best value in this industry, while simultaneously building the most extensive 5G network and the highest capacity network in US history. So no one's ever been able to offer both of those things at the same time before, the best value and the best network. Well, look, if budgets are tight and now's the time to reassess whether you have the right provider, maybe that's a great opportunity for us.
So does that mean you think that this year can compare to last year or keep up with last year, and that more of it will be from switching rather than, totally new customers?
Well, we haven't guided on the year yet, and I don't want to do that here, but I will tell you that 2020 suffered from what I called a muted switching environment, slower switching, because in this industry, despite all the digitalization of other industries, customers tend to come to retail. And in 2020, they haven't been doing that for obvious reasons. People aren't comfortable with retail. And so as we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel sometime in 21 and retail starts to normalize again, I do see an opportunity for increased industry switching. And industry switching is what our growth feeds on, because most of our growth has historically come from people abandoning AT&T and Verizon and coming to T-Mobile.
Now, we do face some potentially very grave political uncertainty, at least over the next 2 weeks. Then we have Inauguration Day, a new administration, a Democratic Congress. How do you expect the political climate to impact T-Mobile's priorities?
One of the things, I'll just share an observation. We started this historic turnaround and success run 8 years ago. And that means we've had 4 years of rapid growth and success under the Obama-Biden administration, and 4 years of success under the current administration. So we've shown that our particular business plan, what we offer, what we do, just build the best network, deliver it at the best value, is not susceptible to the political landscape as much as many might guess. And we've shown success under both Democratic and Republican administrations recently.
What is your message to the Biden administration, given that, they will have some impact on, whether it is 5G, certainly FCC issues that do impact T-Mobile?
Well, I certainly hope we'll continue to see a regulatory environment that is pro-growth and pro-consumer. And the other thing I hope and expect we'll see is an environment that really is about working together more. In this country, we need political leadership that moves past the divisiveness and is willing to look at the good and the arguments on both sides and make some compromises and move this country's agenda forward. And that's what I'm hoping that we'll see under this next administration.
Meantime, the New York Stock Exchange is now, for the moment, proceeding with a plan to delist 3 major Chinese telecoms. You don't compete with these companies directly. They are certainly very competitive in 5G. But what is your response to that?
We don't get too involved in it. I will tell you that you're right. I mean, not only do we not compete with the companies, but also we very early on moved away from supplier relationships with some of the large Chinese companies, Huawei, et cetera. And so as this started to unfold over the past 2 or 3 years, it didn't affect us as much as many other global telecoms who were still reliant on that technology.
Now, I do want to ask you about 5G more specifically, especially now that folks are getting phones fully equipped with 5G. there is some concern that all the carriers are wildly exaggerating their 5G capabilities. The Better Business Bureau has voiced these concerns as well. How do you respond to that? And how do you measure, where you really are on 5G?
I think there's some truth to it. People have been breathlessly claiming that 5G is the most transformative thing ever. And the truth is, it's a huge step forward, but let's be realistic. There's two variants of 5G out there, and T-Mobile's leading in both. One is the broadly available 5G, typically in low band spectrum. That means it reaches further from towers. Ours reaches 280 million Americans across 1.6 million square miles. That's 4 times more than Verizon. And it's about twice as fast as LTE. So it's a big step forward if you don't want congestion on your smartphone, you want to be able to reliably stream videos, et cetera. But the exciting part is what we call ultra capacity 5G. And this is where our reality versus Verizon's and AT&T's is so stark. We smashed our goal. We are covering 106 million people with the highest capacity version we offer of 5G. That compares to 2 million over at Verizon. And it just shows that our models are very different. And this part, let's be honest, it is very transformative. 8, maybe 10 times faster than LTE used to be. And so that does enable hardware and software innovation that'll be transformative as to the technology experiences that consumers and businesses have. That part's not exaggeration.
And can you get a little bit more specific? Say you cover 280 or 106, 106 million with that, faster 5G. How many 5G customers does T-Mobile actually have?
Well, millions, and it's growing every day because it depends on the handsets. And we saw big handset launches from Samsung earlier last year, and then from Apple later last year. So now the big brands are all behind 5G. So it's just a matter of time because the highest velocity phones are all 5G now. With T-Mobile, if you have the phone, you get 5G for free. It's included in your rate plan. There's nothing you need to sign up for. And T-Mobile has more of it than anybody.
The Airwave auction has hit 80 billion. Does that surprise you at all?
Well, I can't comment on the auction directly or indirectly. The rules about that are so strict. But I will say that T-Mobile's been focused on mid-band for a long time. And that's why we're way ahead. It's to be able to sit here in early 21 and tell you we've already covered 106 million Americans with mid-band centric 5G. And we're going to be at 200 million by the end of this year. Just do the math, Emily. Verizon has 2 million. We're going from 100 to 200 this year. That means we will deliver more mid-band 5G every single week this year than Verizon has delivered in their entire history. So it just shows the stark differences in our strategies. And we're seeing that play out.